So welcome to our tutorial on all about barcodes. So there are two different styles of barcodes you will have seen. The one with the vertical bars called a 1D or one-dimensional barcode, and the one with lots of little squares called 2D or two-dimensional barcodes. Both barcodes are similar in that they encode some information on them, either numbers or letters and so on. So of the one-dimensional barcodes, you can have different styles, and these are called symbology. The top one here is called code 128, and you'll often see that in logistics, transport and so on. The one here, the second one, is called interleave 205. You sometimes see that in packaging. It's an industrial one, but it can only contain the numeric digits 0 to 9, and it has to have an even number of these digits, and it's not compact, so therefore if you want to store a large number in it, it will end up to be quite long. This one here is called EAN 13, and you'll often see that in the supermarket. Cans of beans and so on, they'll all have EAN 13 barcodes on. And the bottom one here is called code 39, and it's in common use, but it's low density, and so therefore it takes up more space for lots of data. And there are lots of other different type of 1D symbologies. So of the two-dimensional 2D barcodes, the top one here you'll often see, because it's got these three squares in three of the corners, called a QR code, and you'll often see this if it's used by smartphones to go to a certain website, go and read some user instructions and so on. Sometimes they'll also have a picture in the middle. So this one here is called data matrix, and you'll recognize this by having a solid line down two edges. It can store lots of data and has got error correction built in. So this means it's a bit more suitable for industrial use, and you can even cover a little bit of it and it'll still read. When a data matrix has got a lot of data in, it actually ends up looking like this down to the third one here. So it's like four separate bits, so each has their own solid two lines, but it's split into 4 bits. And there are other different types of 2D barcodes, but you will rarely see those. So reading a barcode. So barcodes are omnidirectional, so it doesn't matter if you have one upside down. So you read it either with a handheld scanner, which is attached into a computer, and you can have wireless ones of these, which gives them a range of perhaps up to 10 meters. In a supermarket you'll see fixed barcode scanners which are scanning all the time. You can use a little handheld computer PD8 sort of thing here to read a barcode, and this will process the barcode data, or of course a smartphone. So on many readers you've got to press a trigger to read a barcode, and then normally the scanner will beep when it's got a good read, and then the data is sent to the reading program. But be careful of that, because if you do a beep, it doesn't necessarily mean the data is correct, it just means that it's been read correctly and then sent off to a computer. Older and cheaper barcode scanners may only be able to read the one-dimensional barcodes and not 2D, so something to check. And the range of the barcode scanners, you need to look at the specifications carefully, and sometimes some models have got this designated SR for standard range, LR for long range, and XLR for extreme long range, and it can go up to 10 meters, sometimes perhaps even a touch more. So what's stored in a barcode? So this is an example of a standard 22-digit premix barcode. So this is what it looks like. This is the data here, which I've color coded to make it easier to see. And the data in this particular one is 4 characters for the material number, 3 characters for the expiry date, and so on and so forth. Sometimes for example here, the weight, there's an implied decimal point, so 250 means 25.0. Then the lot number, supplier, check digit, and so on and so forth. So you'll need to know, this is the standard, but for some of them you'll need to know how the data is encoded. So you can also use a free smartphone app to read any barcode. This is it here, scanned it, and if you click on this one here, any code, it will actually read it. Here's an example of it being in use. So here's the barcode from the previous slide. There's the data, and down the bottom it shows you what it is. So here it is, look, interleave 205, and here's the data that it's read. Very useful to have that. So some barcodes, especially these ones for logistics, are in what they call an SSCC format, and these are use this symbology code 128. So in this barcode, basically it's split up into 2 bits plus a check digit. So the first half is the manufacturing site ID, and if you're a member of the GS1 organization, you'll be allocated a unique number for your site. And the second part of it is what they call this serial reference number, and basically it's just an incrementing number, starts at 1 and goes to 2, 3, 4, 5 as you produce these barcodes, and it goes up to something like 1,000 million or something, so it can't overflow for an awful lot number of years. So when you read this, you then have to look up onto the computer system to see what all the information is. For example, the product code, data manufacturer, bag size, and so on and so forth. And then it's got finally at the end, it's got a check digit just to do some simple error checking. So this barcode has a manufacturing site ID of 22. You can just see that down here. Then it's got a serial reference number of 80, and then finally the check digit is 4 here. So when you are using something like barcodes for premix bags, the system needs to know what format the data is in, and it works this out by certain things. So the barcode, some barcodes will have a fixed position, value in a certain position, like this one has always got 8 at the first character. This one's always got a 31 down here. This one here has got a length of 22 characters. This one has got 23 characters. So that's how it works out which barcode it's scanning, and then it knows the format of the data. So if you've got a problem with reading, there are various ways you can use to improve the barcode reading. First of all, a barcode needs to have a good contrast between the dark bits, often black, and the white bits, often white. Now you can have different colors here, but the bigger the contrast, the better. You do want reasonable lighting. You don't really want it bright sunshine, because that gets rid of some of the contrast. And when you're printing one out, you need a good barcode printer with a high resolution, but be aware, if you store pallets outside, the sun sometimes fade certain inks and paper. Now what you can do is, on your barcode scanner, you can disable any symbology that you're not going to read. So for example, if your site only reads these code 128s, then you can disable all the others and just enable code 128, and that will improve things. And you'll find that some scanners also have other settings to improve the scanning. So printing barcodes, you can print barcodes on normal office printers, and you can buy Windows fonts which are in fact barcodes, and then you can print them out on a document. Sometimes you need an encoding program. So for example, for this barcode font called ID Automation, you'll need an encoding program to encode it so you can use it in Microsoft Word. But barcodes are readable in any orientation, so it doesn't matter if it's upside down. And you want to be careful about the paper type you use because of how long and whether it's going to get wet and so on and so forth. And finally, when a barcode is read and the information is sent to the relevant program, some programs need a terminating character like an enter or something to trigger the program to say, go and interpret this data. And for this reason, most barcode scanners can be configured to add a suffix, enter or carriage return or maybe even tab at the end, or you can prefix a character at the start of the data, and that's configured inside the barcode scanner. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for your interest.